Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome to Tuesday on my own with like Frogmite. Stop into the voice chat if he's feeling it, but he's not going to stream. And George, well, we never really know about George. So if George is here, George will be here. If not, then it's just us. So now I get to carry the whole thing instead of relying on everyone else. Well, we'll see how it goes. First step, check on how everything is. Oh no, too many bones. So it appears the first thing we're going to do is make ourselves a lovely little upgrade. With the last of our emeralds, so we're gonna have to head over to our stockpile of emeralds to get that upgraded. Time to prank Frog. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm the sort of person that if I actually did bother to do pranks, they would be nice pranks where I just go in and build whatever it is they were building. Okay, emeralds. Need some more sticks. Yes, I know that's not a prank. Pranks are not in my nature. Really? There are only 2 extra. Okay, so we got a bunch of these. Huh? So apparently, something in this setup. Oh. Yeah, that's definitely not what I was supposed to do here. Why is this chute dumb? We need the smart one. We had too many of them, so I didn't notice that the chute was the wrong one. Well, there's a lot of ancient debris down the drain. But it's fine. It's not like we don't have infinite ancient debris. Okay, so that is that. Next up, I need to decide if I want to make this the area where I want to make the chromatic compound, and then its secondary things. I don't think I want to do it over here. I think here is too small. And I don't really want to build it over here. So I don't know if I want to keep my idea for this area where I was going to have a bunch of mob farms. Because over here, we're going to have the keep. In here, I kind of wanted to build a racetrack, but I'm still not entirely certain how that would work. And in here, I want to do more village-type things, where I can build more workstations and more cute little town-type buildings, little roads. This place seems too big. So eventually we'll need to have something else in here as well. We will probably build it similar to this over here, where it takes a nice step down into here. Speaking of which, we have a bunch of bones, so we should probably bone meal this as well. And yeah. Now, for this area, I think for the flooring, I kind of want to use brass and andesite casings. Silly purges. Oh, right, I've got a bunch of bees I never bothered to put in because I didn't want to build the storage for it. Oh, there's plenty to do. Okay, so let's check on the casings. Andesite casing, wood and andesite, brass casings, wood and brass. And we do have quite a bit of brass. So that's good. Let's plonk the nether bricks in the nether grout. And we will need to go and get the andesite running. But let's grab a bunch of brass first. Okay, is this set to do andesite? No, it is not. Well, we've got 5 stacks of it. 6 stacks? Two makes 1. So, gonna need at least 4 stacks of this, probably more. So, yeah, let's get this running. Okay, don't have a lot of iron on me. Okay. Grab a bunch of this. And then we'll actually be close to the wood, So I'll make that easy. We're gonna have to repair our hammer. Actually, wasn't it the hammer that we couldn't repair? Like it's the one thing we own that we can't repair using this? Sure is. So we'll have to make new ones if we run out, but that's okay. Now, for the entrance, kind of want it here. So, do we have any flavolite with me? I put the flavolite back. Because of course I did. I mean, that's not bad. Yeah, I like that. And then we'll plonk these down here. Okay. So if we turn all of these into casings, we're going to need a stack of logs and then 6 stacks of planks. Don't exactly have the space for it, so let's plonk some things on the ground. Okay, so we put these on the sides, this in the middle. There we go. 4 stacks of those. It's a pretty nice building material. Like it's got the connected textures, it gets a little bit of variability in the middle. Doesn't auto-populate back into your hand when you run out, but it's a minor little detail. Okay, and then we'll have brass going all the way around the edge. And then do something interesting flooring-wise. Okay, enigmatic hammer. Gonna need more sticks. Yeah, so its durability is precisely 2 stacks. Yeah, that is the nature of a lot of spaces, whether it's inventory or house. You've always got just a little bit of extra space, even right after you doubled how much space you had. Okay, then we grab 2 stacks. Keep 1. Plank 1.5. And then make a bunch of brass casings. Oh, right, I got twice as much brass as I grabbed andesite, effectively. So yeah, today we're working on getting chromatic compound automated so we can make a whole bunch of it, such that we can chuck it in a couple of different places to get a couple of different resources that I will likely just use for aesthetics, but theoretically they should be good for tools as well. Because there's one material that you get when you chuck the chromatic compound into a beacon, and then another one if you chuck it into the void. So that'll be fun. Ooh, chromatic metal in No Man's Sky. A lot of key items, eh? I could see that. Yeah, and as you can see, at some point, a gold bee escaped over here. Don't know exactly when or how. But they did. But they left behind a gold bee spawn egg. So everything was fine. Okay, there we are. We've got a nice brass ring around it. I kind of want to put the beacon like 2/3 of the way across here. Right around here. Now the question becomes whether or not the beacon will still work if we have something to collect with at the top of it. Also, it looks like that second grinder is not in the loaded chunk. It's not. Okay, so the important question is, do we care? I think the answer is no. I don't think I care enough about netherite to move that around. I could theoretically attach it the same way I did there, but over here. Because I'm fairly certain there should be one space on both of those sides, and then 2 space on each of these. So I could put it over here. And someday I might. But that day is not today. Okay, so if we look at this... the center would be right here. Okay, and then... So we don't need the multi-beacon. We're just going for a single, regular old beacon. So a 9x9 beacon would be 164 blocks. Yeah, I just pulled up the wiki. And so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. There we go. Three, 4, there. 2, 3. So while Extortion Bunny's been out of town, I've had a bit more time for watching various media, so I got to watch a couple of things. And they would definitely be higher on my recommendations list than The Eternals was, because that was pretty darn bad. And one of them, actually, I would have expected to come out a while ago. Like, the style of what it is. I ended up watching the Hawkeye series. And I actually would have expected that to come out. I'm not sure how much longer ago than now, but I expected them to go whole hog into comics dadcore earlier than now. Given the Silent Hill game and Dad of War and just the overriding success of the dad-focused video games, I would have expected them to make a dad-focused comics show or movie or whatever quite a bit before now. Like, they did it a tiny little bit with Ant-Man, because at least he was a dad and the kid was kind of involved. But this was the first time where, like, it was super integral to the entire plot. Yeah, and I guess it might have been that the video game companies were more willing to take that risk, more aware of the potential demographic shift, the demographic opportunity, whatever was involved. But it was just surprising that it took that long. Yeah, I know. And with how big the budgets need to be to make these things, I get. And it's not really so much that I'm surprised that Marvel hadn't done it. I'm surprised someone smaller hadn't done it. Like, somebody a little bit smaller that used a slightly different source. Maybe go for the animated instead of the live action. And, like, it doesn't even need to be small. Because, like, if they had done it on the scale of, like, Dragon Prince. Like, if they had found something from one of the other comic domains, and made an animated dad hero type story. I don't know how I feel about this. Because I kind of want to put another ring and then have boxes. Doop, doop, doop. I kind of like that better. Like, I like this one coming in. And we'll probably have it loop there, but then I want to have boxes around it. Yeah. So it was just one of those things where I thought that trend would have happened before now. That was quite enjoyable. I ended up watching Invincible as well, which is a whole other common trend of the moment, with Prime doing heroes aren't heroes shows. Granted, it takes more than 2 shows to make a genre, but still, they've got the monopoly on those 2 shows in that genre. I think it's the last one. But yeah, Invincible wasn't about the dad, is the thing. Like, there was a dad, but it wasn't really about him. And it wasn't about being a father. Yeah, The Boys and Invincible, they're worth a watch. They are an interesting diversion from the norm. But I don't know if it's because of the animation that I've watched, but the animation on Invincible felt terrible. I don't know if it's because I'm so far removed from American animation these days. But it was just bad. Like, there was one scene where I think he was like flying over a river, and it was like you just took a paper cutout of him and just put it on top of a picture of the river, and then just kind of slowly moved it vaguely towards the other side. Not even shrinking it down or anything, just kind of tentatively wiggling it across. A lot of the movements had this snap to them, which during a fight scene is great. But when someone is walking up a set of stairs, they shouldn't just take a snap, ka-snap, ka-snap to each step of the stairs. Like, I get you can go too far the other way too and end up with distressingly fluid motion. But no, like, it wasn't even heroically walking up the stairs. Like, this was just an average person who overstarched their pants. So yeah. The plot was pretty decent. Animation and execution, I can't recommend it. But for a nice subversive superhero show, it's pretty good. And I love Seth Rogen's character. Unfortunately, he's barely in it. Okay. That looks pretty neat. And we'll also need to check what we can use for our bacon base, because this is modded and you can use all sorts of things. We don't have to just be all swaggy and use netherite once we refill our netherite supply. Okay, so then should we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Be a little weird. I don't know what I'm going to use. I want to see what the list is. I probably don't want to use Neptunium because that would be a bit ridiculous, both in the acquisition and the swag levels. But it also makes me kind of want to use it. You know what? Let's make some more of these casings, because 6x6 is more than we've got, which means we need more andesite. Off we go. Emerald could be nice. We have definitely more than enough emerald. Boink. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crack more iron. Now, to be fair to Invincible and its animation, it is not, by any stretch, the worst animation I've seen this year. No. It's nowhere close to the one anime that I watched that I busted out laughing at how bad the animation was at one point. Because there are some that are just remarkably gorgeous. The animation and the artwork are just glorious. The Aquatope of White Sand, Sono Biscuit that just started airing, they are gorgeous. But yes, there are some that are really bad, some that are just in a style that doesn't make sense to us anymore. But this one, I forget what its exact name is. But it has a overly honest, quote-unquote, protagonist who ends up in a relationship with 2 women because he can't say no, and ends up convincing them both to be with him. But there's just this one scene of them just walking either to or from school. I don't remember what it was. And they're just having a little conversation, and then it cuts over to him with just the weirdest expression on his face, completely unmoving for a handful of seconds, that has nothing to do with what's being said around him. He's not reacting because nobody said anything interesting. It's just insanity personified. And it's one of those things where there are just parts of the show where you're like, okay, clearly you needed to get this done, and you had your intern's child do it for you. Because, like, this was not intern level of work. I trust interns to do way better work than this. Their 3-year-old child, on the other hand, might have been able to manage. So yeah, it's always interesting when shows like that come out and you're like, okay, is this one going to have production value or is it not? Because you never really know until they start being made how much is going to be invested in them. In this past cycle, there were 2 that I rather enjoy the manga of that got made into a show, and I expected them both to have similar production value because the manga themselves kind of do, but oh my goodness, did one of them get all the budget and the other one got almost nothing. And I think the biggest shame is that I think the one didn't get the budget because it's a comedy. And so, since so much of the story has to be carried by the goofiness, they didn't invest in a good goofy animator. Like, if they had gotten even like Looney Tunes quality animation, it would have been so much better. And so they spent all their money on the one with the assassin who was reincarnated to assassinate the hero. Which, mind you, again, pretty good show. Pretty good manga. Deserved it. Spent a lot of money from the budget on the intro music. Well worth it. That music was really good. Yeah, I suppose it does depend on the Looney Tunes era. And it has been a while since I've watched them, so I don't know if that animation still holds up. I should look into that. It's been a while since I've watched any of that, and I think it'd be worth taking a look. One, 2, 3, 4. Whatever. Oh, that one took it. Wonder why the other one didn't. Oops. So yeah, I suppose I do need to qualify because it's not necessarily the Betty Boop type that I was thinking of. But then again, it's been a while since I've watched any of those, so I should give some of that another chance. Oh, I saw the trailer for the Cuphead show, so that's coming along. We'll be interested to see that once it's up and running. Spooky noises. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Trying to think if I got the chance to watch anything else interesting. Oh, I played a bit of Skull off stream. I managed to make it past the 3rd area. Unfortunately, there is a 4th and even more unfair area. As if the game wasn't already hard enough. There's an area after that lab area in which you've got various paladins who, when they hit you, give you an armor debuff, such that you take even more damage after taking damage. Each one packs an extra 10% damage that you take from everything after that until you cleanse it in a fountain. Yeah, andesite alloy storage block. That'd be fantastic. Make a beacon on top of it. I agree. That would be very good. I would like it a lot. And so I was on a really good run with, like, the Archlich skull, just completely destroying everything. Take out the giant chimera of a 3rd boss. That didn't even seem to have a 2nd phase. And then I'm like, oh, game's not over, huh? And so I got not exactly raffle stomped. I did make it through, like, 2 more levels. But then I got to a level where you get, like, I got into a room where you get locked in with the enemies. And so you're locked in a room with an enemy that, if it hits you, will give you that debuff. Sometimes it's an enemy whose attack fills pretty much the entire room. And then there are additional enemies outside of that locked room firing projectiles that go through walls. Yeah. And that was after getting his head chopped off at the end of the 3rd fight. And then having some random dude show up and sew it back on for you. Now, I don't know why getting my head chopped off did anything, given for the first bit of the game, you do that for yourself because it deals the most damage out of anything you've got. But that's okay. We don't need to worry about those sorts of plot holes. It's just a video game. I don't know if it's gonna do the cutscene again. That's an oak log. Why are there oak logs in my inventory? Because the variance in that game is just ridiculously high. And so I've tried to, you know, repeat the performance and get all the way through, and it's just a little nuts. Because you've got no guarantees about anything. Yeah, so you only get to see the tree ant thing once. You only get to see the beginning of the mantis fight once. I don't remember there being anything special at the end. But yeah, you only got to see some of the cutscenes just the one time. But also, I don't know if I would ever make it back there on a stream. I can only do a couple of runs per stream, and the odds of getting what's necessary to get that far, not that good. Like, nowadays, I can fairly regularly get to the mantis fight. I know that's not their name, but come on, it's the mantises from Hollow Knight. I can usually get to that fight. I can't reliably get through that fight. And if I do, who knows whether or not I'll get through the next area. Because I've only gotten to that third boss. I'm gonna say 3 times. Yeah, I think I got there 3 times. The first time I had a ridiculously protected build, but it didn't deal a whole lot of damage. The second time, I think I died right away because I had almost no health left and I was on a speed build, and speed builds don't deal damage. And then that third time I had the Archlich and I just completely destroyed it. Like, it didn't have a chance. But getting to that fight is not the least bit reliable. There are just so many ordinary enemies that deal too much damage to me because they're either too hard to dodge, too hard to actually deal damage to. Just generally rough. Okay, so from here, let's do something along these lines. I think this will look good. Yeah, so you never know what skulls you're gonna get. Whether or not you get enough bones to upgrade the skulls is also unpredictable, because there have been some runs where I got nothing but common skulls. And so you can only get 5 bones from each of those. And then if you can't upgrade things, you can't upgrade things. Like, that's just how it goes. And then other runs where I think I got 2 different legendary skulls. I think there might have been one run where I got 3 of the legendary skulls. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this now? And so it makes me wonder if it's actually that RNG dependent or if I'm just bad at the game. Because it's entirely possible that the game is designed in such a way that you should be able to beat it with the base skull. I don't believe it. It seems ridiculous, but so does playing as Coda in Necrodancer. It seems ridiculous, but people do it. And I was actually watching Spoody a little bit today doing some of the dance pad shenanigans that he's been up to. And it's one of those things where I'm like, would that make sense more if I actually played those games? Or are these mods just ridiculous? Because he was talking about sight reading some of these charts, and I'm like, how? How do you sight read them? They're moving the targets everywhere. It would be like trying to read sheet music, but the clefs just move around as you go. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it's just a skill issue. Because, no, I personally would not be able to play as Coda and win. However, while watching someone play Coda, I know exactly what's going on and how I would die. This, I don't know. Okay, so do we box this here or do we keep crenellating? Because most of the rest of this we could probably just fill in and it would be fine. But then out here, again, I don't know. Let's get a little bit higher view. Oh, keep hearing skill issues, the fat insult nowadays. I see. I do like the tatami type floor pattern. Yeah, I don't think I want to box it here because then it'll look like you've got a box that's kind of a little rounded. I think I want to bring these out to the edges. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I want it 5? Do I want it 6? Oh no. I'm out of the brass. Oops. Didn't realize I was that close. Okay. Drop this in there. Yeah, apparently I don't run in the skill issue circles. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, I probably didn't need to make this many casings, but that'll be fine. So that begs the question of what do we fill that one with? Does it get a brass? Does it get an andesite? Yeah, usually the terms from the youngins make it to me eventually, but sometimes it's a little slow in arriving. And rarely ever in the adoption, because I don't have any particular need to use the term bussin'. By better, do you mean more descriptive or less mean? Kind of figured. Okay, so we pushed by 5. Yeah, kids in many cases are little goblins, so I would not be at all surprised in finding out that their neologisms are, you know, appalling. And we're out of andesite again. I just like the word neologisms. Okay, we can turn this off. Probably just use 2 stacks. Crack that. That made too many. But that's fine. We can just put them back together again. Here we go. Right, should actually make them. Okay, so we've got 1 stack, so that makes 32, so we need that, and then this. Okay, so we've got this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 effectively. So we've got these, that. So that's 6. So that should be good. So close because we took 2 out. There we go. Yeah, modern Minecraft, super broken. But that's kind of the point. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I saw a thing where somebody did the math on basically what it would cost to deploy Wordle in the form that it was in. And basically we're talking about how fantastic it is to write something in just good old-fashioned vanilla JavaScript. No frameworks, no extras, no nothing. You just write a bit of JavaScript that does the job you wanted it to do. Because Wordle itself was 63 kilobytes. And no database interactions. And so to deploy it to the millions of people that would play it on any given day, it would cost like $1.50. And so I hope it inspires a bunch of code golfers to come up with fantastically simple Web 1.0 games. There we go. An interesting floor. And now we need to build all the stuff in here that will make us some nice chromatic compound. So we'll need to be able to make blaze cakes, automate the polished rose quartz, obsidian dust, and glowstone dust. And I kind of want to do as much of it as possible in Create. Well, we'll see how that goes. And then we'll need to also split off the chromatic compound into the 2 processors, one being the bacon, the other being the void. But first, bacon bases. So, netherite, emerald, diamond, gold, iron, aeternium, thalassium, should probably make it out of thalassium, terminite, mana steel, terra steel, elementium, mana diamond, dragon stone, osmium, copper, tin, lead, uranium, bronze, refined obsidian could be good, refined glowstone, steel, alf steel. Copper, aluminum, silver, lead, nickel. Yeah, like we could make it out of uranium. We don't really use it. We've got a bit, but I don't think we got enough uranium, and we're not producing anymore. It used to be a byproduct of the emeralds, but they changed it from uranium to prismarine. And so, yeah, 341 ingots is not enough to make the 100 plus a stack blocks. So Thalassium is here in the end. Terminite is... Wait. I don't have to use Thalassium for Terminite? That's cheating. Eternium, I think, is netherite plus stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Netherite plus terminite gets you the Eternium. So even slightly more swaggy than straight up netherite. But then again, refined obsidian. You take the osmium plus dust. I thought it had... Oh, yeah. You got the diamond here. So you have obsidian plus diamond plus osmium to make the refined obsidian. Alf steel is just ridiculous. Two full mana pools. Plus all this pink stuff to make one. Wait, you can actually mine that stuff? Oh, right. This is the one where I think you can actually go to the elf dimension. Yeah, because I think that's where you find the elf bee. Like, you actually have to go there. Excuse me, diamond camel armor? Yeah, I mean, why not? Okay, so the question becomes, do we go for aesthetics? Do we go for swag? Do we go for end theme? Because I'm fairly certain that you're also allowed to mix and match the blocks. And so we don't have to necessarily just make it out of one material. So we could do like one material down the corners and then make each layer a different material. Yeah, that's probably what we'll end up doing. we don't need to do that right now. Well, the trouble with edging is that since it's a pyramid, you don't get to see the inside. And so, like, we could make it give it a core of iron, just because it's cheap, and then put a nice gilded layer on the surface. And so I was saying, like, down the edges. I think that down the corners. I think that might be what you mean by edges. Oh, make the base match the corners. I could see that. And then the question becomes, do you put the light on the inside, like the light colors inside, and darken the edges? Or do you have bright edges and a dark inside? Choices. But that is not what we're here for. Not today. Today, we're making chromatic compound. We're probably not getting through it all today because there's a bunch of things. Because each of these is mildly complicated, and then blaze cakes have their own shenanigans. Bright edges on a dark core seems like an end thing to do. Kinda does. So, fill the base with some lava. Base requires eggs, sugar, and cinder flour. Cinder flour is ground netherrack. Netherrack is probably just a pedestal cobble gen. Yep, that seems to be the way. So this will cost some torque, but all in all, it's not that bad. Sugar, we need to figure out a way of automating the sugar harvest. And so we can crush it, or we can mill it. Or we can craft it. We get more. 10% chance. So we get the same whether we use the big crusher or the little mill. But we still need to actually harvest it. And so that begs the question, which create thing actually harvests it? And then we'll need ourselves a good old-fashioned chicken farm. Polished rose quartz. We'll need redstone and good old-fashioned quartz. And then we can use the pokey thing with sandpaper, which requires sand and paper. So we will need to divert some of our sugar cane or sawdust and water. Oh, well, that's handy. So yeah, we'll need to divert some of our sugarcane to making the sandpaper, but we're not going to need a ton of that because I think we get 8 of the quartz. Yeah, 8 of the quartz per sandpaper. But then again, I don't know how many of these we get per sugar for the blaze cake. Probably another 8, so we might actually end up balancing the sugarcane between these two. So we'll need to keep these two relatively close together. Obsidian dust. Crush it. Crush it and loop it. So that's mildly frustrating, but probably fine. And then glowstone dust as well. Oh, that's interesting. Pervaded netherrack, huh? And so glowstone into glowstone dust. But how are you getting the glowstone? Glow caps. Excuse me? Well, that's a little bananas. What? Cinderflower and night vision potion to make glowstone dust. Yeah, this is just plain old item draining, not necessarily... Okay, so... Uncraftable potion. So yeah, that is quite possibly the most ridiculous way of creating the good old-fashioned glowstone, but I don't know. Wait, what? Okay, so that's... the automated mixing. Can we do the part with the nether wart here too? Why are we going from potion with no effects to potion with no effects? Okay, now the wart plus potion equals potion. Crab shell? Frog leg? Yeah, so a lot of these are probably turning it from regular into splash and whatnot. And so it probably works. Anchored? Oh, Wraithheart. Can add chilled. Truffle. Can give you a health boost. I didn't know there were health boost potions. Cocoa beans. Restfulness. Why is the cocoa putting you to sleep? Or, like, does it relieve your tiredness and it's just a caffeine thing? It's just an energy drink? I'm gonna have to make an energy drink place. It's a really pretty potion, though. Slowness 4, resistance 3. Wither potion. Danger sight. Brittleness. Glowing. Virulent resistance. Repellence. Once again, potion no effects, potion no effects. Yeah, it's a lot of things. And it wasn't particularly easy to click into. And we're just going to scroll on through. And so a lot of these, yeah, they're just taking Dragon's Breath and adding whatever Dragon's Breath does. Oh. Make an insomnia potion? Put him on some arrows. Shoot the other guys with it. Probably makes phantoms show up. A lucky rabbit's foot. Well, that's the thing. The insomnia probably creates them. The restfulness probably prevents them. Yeah, lots of boring stuff. Get me to the interesting stuff again. We're probably out of interesting stuff, aren't we? I could probably just check on recipes with netherwort, but I'm not 100% sure they would bring me here. And even if they did, I'm not sure they would show up properly. Because I am mildly interested in using this to make the glowstone. Just because I think it would be interesting. Okay, so it does work. So you've got the sprouting fungus, and you got water leading to a potion. Sprouting fungus is basically netherwort. Plus water, potion. And so, Potion of Night Vision, Golden Carrot. You can craft Golden Carrot like this. You can infuse a carrot with Starlight, which seems amazing. A super weird Crucible recipe. Buy them from the dude. Cast them from the table. Or automated shaped crafting. Either way, you need then a source of gold. Which we could get from a gold bee. Or a hellish zombie. The hellish zombie would probably be better. Because we're not breaking down golden horse armor. I have seen this method where you wash the sand instead. Like you get a red sand generator and you wash the sand to get a bunch of gold. But it looks like it has to be red sand. Oh, that's how they do it. You get the terracotta from cooking clay. You get the clay from gravel? No. So you wash the sand. So you wash regular sand to get the clay. The regular sand you get from cracking the gravel, which you get from cracking the cobble, and you can use a vanilla cobblestone generator. Because I remembered seeing like a ridiculous setup for getting gold nuggets from cobblestone. And it's just not worth it. And so as fun as this would be, making cinderflower and night vision potions to make glowstone, I don't know how feasible it is. But then again, this is modded Minecraft. We're not here for feasible. I want to see how much of this I can do without without resorting to bees. Eventually you'll get to a point where you're like, no, I can't generate this raw material any other way. And then we'll have to resort to bees or to pedestals, because we'll need the pedestal to make the netherrack. There's no other reasonable way of making the netherrack. Because it's a secondary thing from nether quartz. A lot of these are just turning the tiled netherrack back. I mean, industrial foregoing, you could use water and lava, I guess. Yeah, so for netherrack, we'll have to use the pedestals. That's fine. Night vision potion requires gold and a carrot. Carrots, not a huge problem. You can use a botany pot. If you want to do it to create, you could just make normal farmland and then harvest it with whatever weird little harvesters they've got. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. So, carrot from the normal harvester. You used to just buy the golden carrots. It's probably not that bad. Okay, so we'll probably make a little farming type setup to get carrots. But how are we getting the nugs? Because we got bees. And we've got this ridiculous method. Is there any other reasonable way of getting gold? Secondary thing from that. Cook, cook, cook. Yep, that's all there is for gold. So the question becomes, do we get it from the gold bee? And pull it from our primary gold reserve? Or do we try to make some autonomous thing here? Either that somehow imports and destroys pigmen, or yeah, that's about all I got. Because that washing method is unbearably slow. The big problem, with pulling it from this is figuring out how to specifically pull just the nuggets. And then to make sure that they come into this properly. Which makes me wonder how you get those to work in the first place. Do you just have a bunch of conveyor belts go into it? Otherwise, we'd have to use this, and that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, it's not too ridiculous. Yeah, because the heater takes that, but I think you can put a melter on top of one of these. For science! Yeah. So that works just fine. Oops, wrong one. And so we can make another one of these to put into another one of these to put into another one of these. And then we should be able to put a block of the metal in. Yep, and it can hold exactly one block, and then we would right-click this thing somehow. And that puts it right back to what it was. So that's fine. Now the trouble becomes that if we put it into a casting table with one of these, it turns into one of those. And that's great. But if we put it into an empty casting table, it'll make a blank gold cast, and that's no good. So we would need to make sure we only trigger this when there's a caret. So that begs the question, how do we know when there's a caret? Probably a comparator could do the job. Otherwise, we'd have to get into integrated dynamics, which we've done. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But I do like to avoid it whenever possible. But the question becomes, would create know? Either from the stockpile or whatever the other one was called. Content observer, maybe? So I think content observer is what we need, because we don't need a certain quantity. We just need to know, is there one? Which will, in fact, require an observer, which makes a bit of sense. Okay, content observer. Observe that thing. Carrots, you're coming with me. Filter on carrot. Is there a carrot? It does not see a carrot. Are you telling me that Tinker's Construct casting tables are not observable by this observer thing? So let's do a test on something that it definitely should be able to observe. And it successfully observed it. Well, that's a bit frustrating. So it makes me think that thing is not actually an inventory. Wait, I did not pick up the input thingy. I still did not pick up the input thingy. Okay, and we'll grab these. And then we'll grab these. It's got 2 slots. That reads carrot. Why do you not read carrot? Maybe not as advanced, I guess. Because it'd be nice if we could just tap this all the time. But we can't, because then it would make a bunch of casts, and it's not what we need. So we need something that will ping it when there's a carrot. And so that's a shame. Because I really wanted to use just create things. Whenever possible. But I don't really want to make the big shaped crafting thing. So, what do we do? Do we stick with this and do the integrated dynamics? Do we try to do automated shaped crafting? Let me check a thing real quick. Yes, I know that's how that works. How do you... Okay, so that one was a garbage tutorial. Let's see if this one is better. This one seems to be more of a Let's Play than a tutorial. Build the thing. Line the thing up. And they're probably just going to manually put the stuff in. Yeah? Yep. Yep, and then use it for the other thing, because of course you can. Nobody automates it. That's tap, tap, tap. That's fine. Do. Nobody ever automates it. Okay, automatic cake crafter. This has got to do it. How do y'all get it into the thing? Oh, so you have to use the combine on the sugar. It's good to know. Oh, that might work. This is not what they're doing. Huh. How are they getting the milk out of those? Yeah, that's how you get wheat. Dumping things into the void. There's a whole lot of random stuff going on. Huh. Oh, okay. So it would really just take 2 arms. Okay. Took way too long to find somebody who actually automated the thing. I am just too accustomed to using belts and whatnots. But it would actually be fairly reasonable to use one of the mechanical arms to put the carrot in, and then one to put in the nugs in all of the places. It's just a question of getting the stuff into a create compatible inventory for the arm to actually grab. Okay, so let's grab our ranch. We got too darn many spruce planks. Let's hide them back here. Plonkety plonk. So content observer might come in handy later. Okay. So we're going to need 9 of those. We're going to need a little farm patch to grow carrots. And then quantum entangle that box over for the thing to be able to grab the golden nuggets. So we would need something to pull nuggets from that container and put it onto a depot, much like this one, such that it can be grabbed by an arm to be put into those things. So we've used up 2 hours making a floor and coming up with that plan. And all of this to just set up the world's weirdest glowstone generator. We also need to remember that we need that cinder stuff for 2 different applications. And so we'll need to figure out where we're going to do that as well. And so I'm thinking probably over here for that cinder stuff. So we could put the farm for the carrots maybe in here? Maybe in here? Probably wouldn't be bad right in here. Because we'd grow the carrots here. But we're going to have to push it through a couple of steps. Because we grow the carrots, then we merge the carrots with the gold. And then we brew the potions. But for the potions, we will also need a little netherwort farm. So we're going to need 2 little farms. Or for the farm to harvest both carrots and netherwort, which I think could also be quite fun. The biggest problem we're going to come across is the fact that this is 6x6 and not 5x5. So do we make just a tiny little farm? Will the stuff grow fast enough? Two netherwort, 6 carrots. Takes half a bucket of potion. Let's check on how much we would actually make. So it looks like you get 10 glowstone per potion. Yeah, because it's... Again, we're back to this. Oh, we do still need to feed the blaze something ordinary, though. So we'll need to keep that in mind, too. So nether wart plus water makes potion. So nether wart plus a bucket makes a bucket. A bucket makes... Was that 40 glowstone? Yeah, so 40 glowstone. Wait. Yeah. Per potion. So we'd need 40 cinder flower, which is fine. A night vision potion requires the golden carrot, but that's bucket to bucket. Not a problem. The actual problem is we would need to get the nether wart in there and then get the crafted thing and then put that into a different one. And we need to cook both. So we would need to figure out what we need to feed that guy. Flammable items. Blaze cakes for stronger. Process can be automated with arms or deployers. Okay. Easy enough. So if we have them nearby, we can have just one arm feeding both of them. But we'll need a good supply of flammable things. And so we might want to make a more reliable charcoal factory than this one. Because this one was pretty darn messy. Because you'd push things around, and once it got full, things would fall out. And that's just no good. So let's check out the charcoal. So yeah, blast the logs. Blast the logs. And you get yourself charcoal. So it makes me wonder if you should just put logs onto a depot, because they'll eat logs. And then have the blasting underneath of it, which will turn it into charcoal if there's any amount of backup, which will make it last longer, which will lead to more backup. But I don't think they'll put more logs on it. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. So yeah, we would need a depot getting blasted with a pathway into the depot for the feeding. And I don't know how visible I want all of that to be. Because I kind of want all the stuff to be visible. So we could also make a nice visible create tree farm. Because we got all this space. We might as well use it. So the question becomes, is there any other part of the process that will need charcoal to feed the blazes? Because at the end you need the blaze cake. That's about it. Okay, so that's what we could do for this. And so from there, we'll generate the cinder flower here. We'll send it off, and it'll probably get split between making the blaze cake bases and making the glowstone. So let's use this area for glowstone. Okay. Seems reasonable. We'll need to export the glowstone towards the final production area, which is likely to be right in here. So we want to export it from here. So to do that, we'll need the cinder flower and the potions. So the potions will be in here. For the potions, we'll need the two mixers, which will need to be fed with charcoal and water. And golden carrots. And nether wart. So we've got a lot of and going into this relatively small area, which makes me think that's not where it belongs. We should probably put those here. Such that you can get things in from both sides and then send stuff out. And so probably have the final spout here. Cinder flower into the spout. Send the spout stuff out this way. Don't exactly have something to designate that, but let's say here is the spout. Which means you'll have mixers kind of like this. An arm here. Let's put the arm here. Grabbing charcoal from here. Not a lot of room. Perhaps grab the water from there? Grab charcoal from here? Okay, so yeah, we're still having trouble with sides and moving things around. But this one needs the golden carrot. No, this one needs the nether wart. This one needs the golden carrot. So if we have our automated crafter here, we would need 2 arms to put stuff into it. And I believe we could use a chute to drop the golden carrot into here. Keeping in mind, these need to be higher. Because the spout probably even needs to be 1 higher than that, doesn't it? Yeah, because that looks like depot space spout. Yep. No space? Looks like space. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Frog, did you explode it? You did not sing, but me game, it crash! Kaboom! is earth-shattering kaboom! So probably not the server. It was probably just me trying to watch a thing, talking about the spouts. But we don't necessarily need to put it higher. Like, the spout goes higher, certainly. But we don't necessarily need to have the vats that high. We don't have to have the pipes go straight across. We could just use more pipes. More pipes. I know that's probably not what that emote means, because that looks more reish than insisting on more. Ah, insistence. Oh, my chat preview doesn't do the Twitch thing where it tells me the actual code for the moat. Yeah, I don't know. Because it doesn't have as many wiggles in the tongue as a typical remote, but with the red face, I don't know. Oh, and I saw an announcement on the Altair Discord today that I don't know if it's a good idea or a terrible idea, where they're going to make the emote texts non-unique and give you the ability to choose which of the non-unique emotes you wanted to use. I don't know how they're going to make it user-friendly, though. Like, I get the allure of both. I like the allure of you type in a particular emote word and it makes that emote. But I also get not wanting to get hemmed in by being late to the party and not being able to get the prefix you want. But then again, I don't know how many people would actually have that conflict. Okay, so if we do it like this, we'll have a pipe between these two. Chug, 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 chug. We'll probably power it from this side. have an arm bring in charcoal, but from where? And where is this farm? Well, this farm can be relatively small, so maybe just have that right here. Have a cute little farm right here that generates the carrots to come over here and the netherwort to come into here. Yeah. So we're working on the most ridiculous way of generating glowstone, because I want to try to avoid using bees for this part. And so I want to make some glowstone, and it's going to be ridiculous. So carrots here, netherwort here. I need to bring some water into here. I'm probably just going to use a sink. Probably. Just put a sink right here. Have a pump into here, same as through here. And then we would need to somehow rotate it to put the pump here into spout. To pump this night vision potion onto the cinder flower that we get from over here. The gold will come from over there onto here via Smart Chute, probably. Smart Chute's smart enough to know when this is full. We can set it to nugs. It'll be great. Unfortunately, this is supposed to be an arm, not a depot, but whatever. We can put the depot here, put the arm right there. Okay. And then we need a tree farm. World's smallest tree farm, maybe? Right in here. Spruce are nice and small. World's smallest tree farm will hopefully just export the wood to a chest right here. That could then export to a depot somewhere nearby. For the cooking, and then we would need to bring it back to an arm roughly here. Perhaps we export to the chest here, shift over to the depot, shift to another depot for the arm. chest, depot, depot. So, logs, Smeltomatic, charcoal to feed our blazes. And then it comes from here into the next part of the process. I think that's all we need. We just need to actually figure out how this farm and this farm actually work. The other problem is we're going to have to rotate around this farm, but where's the water? Because the rotational whatnot goes right where I would put the water. Okay, regardless, we'll need a rotational thing. Shoop, shoop, shoop. We'll need probably a chest here. Maybe a chest there instead. Because that'll be easier to run the line to here. Yeah, that'll be easier to run the line to there to get into there. With the carrots. And one there. For the netherwort, the question becomes, are we able to... Oh, this is going to be too tight. It might be okay. Because those connector things need space. To be able to do the connecting. Which means we're gonna have a problem. Because I don't have enough space for those right now. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. Gap of 1 or 2 blocks. Items can now be inserted or extracted. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily need to be a chest. We could just pull it straight to that thing. But it would still need to be one away. But so long as this is filtered, it should only pull the things that I want. So I'm pretty sure this is... Okay, so that's a mechanical bearing. These are linear chassis. So it should be possible for me to attach this to the bearing. And then a chassis to that with the containers, and then have... Yeah, have the deployer on one side and have the combine, I guess, on the other. Oh, for crops, you don't even need the pokey finger. It just resets them. Well, that's awfully handy. So we need even less than I thought. Nani? That is quite a nice what. So that's handy. So if we put the mechanical bearing in the ground, we put the inventory thing here, attached to a linear chassis, and then all we need would be combine and a chest. Maybe. Probably. We'll see. So we'll take this out. Do that. Infinity water bucket. Grab our dirt. Oh, we should probably look into making the cooler dirt someday. But we do not need awesome dirt at this point. Speaking of which, we do not need dirt in all of the places. We could use a little bit of soul sand as well. The trouble is then what do we do with the one part that has the linear chassis? Yeah, the water could be anywhere, but it needs to be on the same level. I don't think you can put it underneath. And so it could be over here, but here's fine. Yeah, and so I'll put the linear chassis here. And I think once it's moving, we'll be able to hoe this and plant. Are you telling me I can't plant carrots straight? I have to turn them into carrot seeds. Oh, right. We're in the end. I always forget that we're in the end. What is the prettiest, cheapest light source we can get? Ooh, rod lamp. That looks cool. Yep. I like the rod lamp. Like, I kind of want to put it on the contraption. That's pretty good. Okay, carrot seeds. Let's go. Bones. Activate. Okay. Do I have netherwort on me? Would not have expected. Okay. Netherwort. Go. Oh, right. I put all of the wood away. Because of course I did. Okay. Mechanical bearing. Set. Suppose I can just use this gaping hole to get underneath. Okay, so we'll have that ready to spin. We'll worry about the torque everywhere else once we get there. Okay, next up, we need 3 of those portable thingamajigs. We're definitely going to need more andesite. Maybe more dried kelp too. Nope, we're good. Okay, so we've got the andesite. We're going to make a couple of funnels. Yeah, funnels, mix them with the brass casings to make the grabby things. It's not where I wanted those. Okay. So we're going to need one here. Not like that. And then we need one here. Not like that. There we go. However, I do not trust that that's actually attached, even though that looks very sticky. Where is my super glue? Do I have super glue? I don't have glue on me. Doesn't mean I never made it. What would I have glued? That does not require glue. Nothing in there requires glue, so I probably never made it. Yeah, that recipe does not seem familiar. Okay, so we take one of these and squish it. And there we go. So we super glue that. And it didn't squish, even though I have it in that hand, which leads me to believe I did not actually need it. Okay, next up. Where's my hand crank? Brilliant. It has been rotated. Oops. Okay, so we have that. It'll connect to those. No problem. Next up, we need a linear chassis to go right there. And so we take our linear chassis and go squook. That looks good. Then we need a chest on top. Facing this way. Okay. And then combine. Need 2 squished irons. There we go. Now, unfortunately, I have a feeling that if I ever stop it, it will destroy wherever it stops. And so once this starts, we're going to need it to just keep going. Because you can't have blocks existing with other things, and it won't necessarily stop right here every time. So we're going to need to get this set up with phenomenal cosmic power before we do anything untoward. So I'm tempted to just give it its own tiny little windmill. It seems a little wasteful. But then again, it doesn't need to move very fast. I don't know how much torque it needs. So yeah, windmill's probably overkill. Maybe we want to use the lava fan technique. Well, it's probably worth trying the lava fan first, just to see whether that's enough torque. And this really is a delightfully slow farm. It doesn't need to be amazing. And we don't need to even get these two up and running right away, because that chest, it'll take quite a while for it to fill up. So yeah, let's go encased fan. Encased fan. Rope pulley. Excuse me? Oh, well, that's handy. Get a full portcullis thing going. That would be cool. Sticker. Redstone controlled block attachment. Oh, man. That's cool. So many random neat things. Oh, seats. Focus. Adjustable crate. I know I could just search for it, but I like looking. There it is. So we're gonna need cogwheels, shaft, propeller. Gonna need a new enigmatic hammer soon. Okay. Got an encased fan. Ah, don't use my super glue. Okay, encased fan is facing the right way. Gonna need one of them there levers. And we go grab ourselves a bit of lava. Got too darn many things in my inventory. And now here's hoping that it spins in the direction I want. Well, I suppose step 1 is hoping it spins at all. Step 2 is the right direction. Of course, it's the wrong direction. Why wouldn't it be the wrong direction? Oops. Okay. Should probably pick up my hand crank before it despawns. Right. Can't check the interface while it's actually running. Okay, one thing I had not considered is that this thing will produce the golden carrots. But we don't have a way to make it stop producing golden carrots. because it'll produce the golden carrot, drop it into a chute into here. But we need to find a way to recognize when there's just too many golden carrots. Perhaps by knowing when there's something in the chute, send some redstone over here, hits a clutch. Maybe. But it's 11 o'clock already. How is it 11 o'clock already? It's what now? I know, right? I've barely done anything except this entire beautiful floor and thinking about how to build this. And making a cute little farm. Well, at least we made a cute little farm. We'll figure out some other time how to recognize when this has the golden carrots to shut off the golden carrot maker. But the arms are pretty good about not filling things that are already full. So if we're able to turn off this crafter, it shouldn't get overwhelmed. But this will eventually have too many carrots. And I don't know what to do about that. Because once this has too many carrots, it's probably going to start chucking carrots on the ground. So maybe, just maybe, we will need to have the conveyor bring the carrots down here, have them picked up by this, and then have another thing that picks them up and voids them. So have it come along, have a funnel picking it up from there, and then a funnel into a trash can. Probably the way to go. Problem solved. Aside from, I still don't know how this part would work. But then we'll have a sink, a couple of mixers, and then a source of charcoal, which will be depot, smeltomatic. Actually, with the way this actually ends up working, we might be able to go relatively straight from this into a depot. Relatively straight. So we'll have the zoop, zoop, zoop. It'll connect. Well, it could go up and connect higher. But I'm not sure that's good for growing trees, so we'll probably want to keep it low. So yeah, it'll probably be best to connect it over here and through. Yep. But we've done some pretty good work. We've got a pretty good sense of how this is going to go. Oh, we got a fully grown carrot. Let's watch it go. It didn't work. So makes me think that's not actually working properly. We'll have to wait until one of the outside ones grows. But, yeah, it doesn't work right there, which means it's never going to collect those nether warts. Ooh. Oh, well. Thank y'all for being here. We'll fix this next time. Pretty sure we'll be back with Frog and George on Thursday, supposing things go better in their general life type situations. I'm pretty sure I'll be here one way or the other. Yeah, and we'll keep working on this. I was not expecting to go down this weird glowstone rabbit hole, but this is a lot more fun than just having a bee make a bunch of a glowstone. Because I like making little contraptions and seeing stuff work. And then we've got this whole other area we're going to have to fill with other contraptions for making other stuff. Which will be fun. So thank y'all for being here. And I will see you in the next live stream of Minecraft or Skull or data science or music or who knows what with light.